Alright, this story takes place back when I was 16. It was mid-August, and I was staying at my dad's house. My dad had visitation rights and custody rights for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This was Saturday morning. So, I was the type of kid who always got up really, really early. Like, middle-aged man early. And this morning was just like any other morning until I went outside. That's where shit gets real. So, let me describe the land and the layout real quick. He had a house on top of a hill, and behind that hill was nothing but swampland and forest. Now, you may be thinking, swampland and forest, huh? Well, there was a forest outline that started maybe 16 feet beside the house and went on for about 10 acres. And the inside of the forest, maybe 70 feet inward, started the swamp. Now, the swamp dried up, and it's been dry for years. On the other side of the property, by the house, the garage, the driveway, are lined with pine trees. I'm not talking small pine trees. I'm talking pine trees that are a couple 100 feet tall. Now, put that in perspective. The backyard's hill, because there's a hill behind the house, descends at roughly a 60-degree incline. And let's just save what I was going to say for later. Alright, so now that you get the picture of what this place looks like, slightly. It was maybe 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I decided to go outside in the garage and mess around like I usually did. Because the garage is a full-on shop. You can do whatever you want without repercussions. I go to make my morning trek. I grab a donut off the kitchen counter. And as I go to open the back door, I see my dog. Now, she's an older black lab. Usually never barks unless it's an intruder. Runs with deer, normal friendly dog things. And she looks at me, and I think nothing of it. So I walk out and I say, "Hey, Sassy," because that's her name. As I go to pet her, I look over to the right. Now, I just glanced out of curiosity. I don't know what made me do it, but something told me to look. And as I look, there's a rock. Now, it's not a pebble. It's not a small little driveway rock. This rock was a foot long and probably 5 to 6 inches wide. Now, that's not what disturbed me. Seeing the rock didn't disturb me. What disturbed me was the sound of it landing and hitting the wood deck. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could a rock like that just come out of nowhere? That's what I wondered. And what scared me even more was the fact that the rock was moving. Like it had just been recently thrown. Now, the only way you could throw a rock like that would be if you were already on the deck or right beside it. Now, here's the weird part. We had a security camera and floodlight on that corner of the house, and it came from the direction of the swamp. Now, like I said earlier, the swamp's inwards from the edge of the woods, and the edge of the woods is filled with thick brush and overgrown trees. If someone was to throw that, they'd have to be right by the house. But no one was there. So I run inside, I grab a flashlight, and I make my way back out towards the garage. Mind you, the garage is in front of the house, right by the pine trees. I make my way down the gravel driveway, getting creeped out by the sound of gravel moving under my feet. As I get closer to the man door of the garage, I pull out the keys from my pocket and I go to open the door. Well, the lock on the door has been messed up for maybe 3 years since our last break-in, and we've never gotten it fully fixed. I go to jiggle the key and it didn't unlock the first try. So I sat there for maybe 2 minutes trying to unlock it, and I stop. Remember how I said my dog was really friendly? She never barks unless it's an intruder. She stood up, looked into the pine trees, and took off, barking and growling and howling. Definitely, something was off. I quickly unlocked the door, and at that point I run in to turn the outside light on and the floodlights on. As the floodlights reach the corners of the pine trees and the edge line, I make my way back outside. At this point, I'm trying to find out what my dog went after. After maybe 15 minutes of looking through those pine trees and walking through them, I gave up, and I start making my way towards my dad's truck, which is parked along with the garage door. And as I go to enter the garage, I swear I'm not joking, a pine tree branch, literally 15 feet long and maybe 4 inches thick, comes flying out of the pine trees and smashes straight into the back windshield of the truck. Now, Picklebee. Sorry about that. Now, I'm not joking when I say this. That scared the absolute fuck out of me. I don't know how or what threw that, but a pine tree branch that big, that's still alive, being thrown at me like a javelin. That was enough to make me lock the door and hide in the garage until morning. To this day, I don't know what that was or how it happened. All I know is I believe I witnessed Bigfoot.